do polynomials and rational functions, including quadratics, and this is section 2.1 and 2.2. Our objectives today are to analyze the graphs of quadratic functions. We're going to write them in standard form and then use those to sketch graphs. That's what we're doing from section 1 of chapter 2. From section 2, we're going to use transformations to sketch graphs. This is of polynomials. We're going to look at the leading coefficient and use it to determine the end behaviors. This is important, end behaviors of graphs. And then we're going to find and use real zeros of polynomial functions. All right, so that's what our goal is today. All right, for analyzing graphs, we're going to look at, this is a quadratic in standard form. In Mrs. Gallatin's class, they may have called it vertex form, but it is also considered the standard form. So the vertex in this situation is H and K. The direction, if A is greater than 0, then the thing will open up. If it's less than 0, for quadratic, it opens down. If A is a fraction between -1 and 1, in other words, its absolute value is less than 1, then your graph is going to be wider. And if A is greater than 1 or less than -1, in other words, greater than the absolute value of it is greater than 1, it's narrower. Okay, here we have an example. So the question is, what's my vertex? My vertex is going to be 2 because it's minus the shift and -4. It opens because this 2 is positive, it opens up. Whereas, is it narrow or wider? 2 is greater than 1, therefore, not wider, sorry, narrower. 4. Okay. Write a quadratic function in standard form from its general form. That's what this is, general form. So the way we do this is we complete the square, and hopefully you will remember how to do that. First step for completing the square, I'm going to break off this 1 and shift it out. I'm going to factor off 1. I'm sorry. I'm going to break off that 4. We're going to factor out the 2. I have x squared minus 4x. And so where I said I was going to break out the 4 and move it down. This is what y is equal to. Now all I have to do is complete the square. Remember, when you complete the square, you can take your term and divide it by 2. Then you square that answer. That's what you add inside. To keep this balanced, if I add it, I'm also going to have to subtract the same amount. But I haven't just added 4 times 2. So I added 2, so I have to subtract 8. Now what this leaves me with is y equals 2 times x minus 2 squared minus 4. This would be the equation in standard form, or vertex. It's easy to graph off of vertex form. All right, now we're going to sketch it from this form. So we're going to draw ourselves a set of axes, mark them off, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as a starting point. All right, now we're going to find our vertex is -4, so I go 2 in the x direction and -4 in the y direction. So that's my first point. All right, now we know that this 2 is positive, so it opens up. If I was going to sketch this, basically it's going to go like that. And I also know that what was the other thing? I'm sorry. Oh, it's going to be narrower. Is that 2? It is greater than 1. All right, so what I'm going to do is now I'm going to just pick a few points. I know that my center of this figure has an x of 2. So I'm going to go either side. I'm going to go 1 and 3, and then one more, so 0 and 4. So 1, if I plug that into the equation, 1, I'm plugging in 1, so I have 1 minus 2, -1 squared. So that's 1 times 2, 2, minus 4 is -2, so that's -2. So I have a positive 1, -2. Well, due to symmetry, 3 is going to be -2 also. If I plug in a 0, I get -2. -2 squared is positive 4. Times 2 is 8. Minus 4 is 4. So 0 is 4. 1, 2, 3. What's this? 1, 2, 3, 4. So 0 is 4. And through symmetry, we know that 4 is going to be 4. All right, now we have more than enough points to graph this thing. All right. Equations with vertex and point. So we're going to write the equation of the parabola that has this vertex and goes through this point. I have no idea what I did. Flash the screen. Right now. Okay, so we have a number at minus 3. But I do know one point. Those values, and now I'm only going to have a. Now I can solve for a. This is 2 squared, which is 4. I have 4a. I'm going to add 3 to both sides is equal to 8. Divide by 4. 2 is a. So my answer is y equals 2x minus 2 squared minus 3. There we go. All right, go ahead and do your in-class practice numbers 1 through 3. And then you can continue and I will give you the answers. But pause the playback and go do your set.